Welcome to That's Pretty Neat with Rodger and Stefan, where we discuss neat, holistic, regenerative agriculture. Check this out.
This looks like a pretty neat setup you've got here.
Yeah, it is. So this is what we have. We got 4 solar panels going into
For what, 100 watt?
400 watts. Yeah.
Okay.
They're going into 2 switches
Okay.
that are then going into the controller, which is connected to 4 car batteries.
100 amp hour batteries?
Yep. Regular car batteries.
Okay. Deep cycle?
I don't know. I think so.
Yep.
Yep. Yes, oh, yes, they are.
Yep.
Going into a 600 watt inverter.
Pure sine wave inverter?
Pure sine wave inverter.
Pure sine wave inverter.
Going directly into an energizer.
Speed right by True Test 36,000 R energizer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So what
And
this
then
is doing
over here, you've got a wire coming off the energizer going
to the ground.
to the ground.
I think this is 7 posts that are 5 feet tall, pushed all the way into the ground, connected, and then filled the ground up with water. So it's very conductive to the ground.
Okay.
So we have this here so we can shoot energy there. Because if this isn't connected, nothing's coming out of that.
Okay, so you've got a good spacing, 1, 2, 3 meters
Yep.
in between each ground rod, and you've got numerous ground rods.
7.
7. Okay, and they're going 5 or 6 feet deep.
Correct.
Okay, so deep, well spaced, and wet ground.
Yes.
And I see a faucet over there, or a tap as we call them.
Mm-hmm.
And so you put water in the trench to keep it wet in the middle of the dry season.
Correct.
Okay. And then on this side, I see the energy coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we doing on this side?
This is where it connects directly to the front side of the ranch's entire fence network. Network, excuse me. If we walk.
So do I understand correctly, that energizer is running 1,000 acres of fence?
This energizer is running about 550 acres. 600
Okay.
acres. 600
And then you
acres.
have another kit like this on the top of the mountain?
In the backcountry running the last 400
Okay. Was that because you needed to or because you wanted to?
because we wanted to.
Okay. Okay, and so here your hot wire comes to the bottom
Mhm.
strand. Okay, and then you've connected it to the top.
Mhm.
So the hot wire is going to 2 strands, and then your earth wire is going to,
This fence that's right in front of us,
no, that's your earth wire is going to your top strand.
our earth wire.
Isn't this your earth wire?
No way. No, this is going to the fence in the front. This is a different line. This is that fence. Oh,
Okay.
you
Oh,
scared me. You
that's-
gave me
that-
a spook.
That's hot going that direction.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, just running over the ground.
Yeah.
So where is your earth? Oh, you didn't run an earth wire. You just have earth going to earth.
Mhm.
You don't have a separate earth wire going to the middle strand.
No.
Okay, and that's been fine to not carry a separate earth?
Yep.
Because you're connected to metal posts everywhere?
Yes.
Or okay, and then what can you tell us about these fence posts? They look a bit different to.
All right, check
What
these
you
ones out
find.
first. These ones are
Yeah.
these ones are the non-permanent, excuse me. Really easy step-in posts. You can pull them up. Boop. This fence is hot, so I'm being kind of careful. Since we're in dry,
Was that careful you said or scareful?
careful.
Okay.
This is what we use here in California, since it does get very dry, is the long form step-ins that are usually used for end posts in places that are wet. We use
Okay.
them here for almost all the regular ones. And then what you do is, I'm going to kick this in from the other side by going under the fence. Thank you. Stepping on it right here. Get it in. Make sure it's going down straight. Perfect. Not going to move.
Okay.
Easy. This is what we use for non-permanent fences that we're just nogging down or putting back up for strip grazing, or if we're going to keep the cows in an area for a very short period of time.
Okay, so you've got a permanent fence infrastructure that you connect
Into.
temporary fence infrastructure into for specific management reasons. Okay, let's go and look at the permanent fence then.
Cool.
Okay, so I noticed firstly that the insulators are different on this one.
Yep, these are metal insulators that are clips that keep the wire from going anywhere. Those, if you move them around too much, they will pop out.
Okay.
But these are more sturdy, metal, fiberglass post, plastic toe.
Don't get worn, don't get burnt by fire.
Yep.
Okay.
Do not get warm at all. And then here we have high tensile gauge wire. I think it's, what is it?
Looks like about a 14 gauge.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 14 gauge.
And this is covering the entire ranch in about 30 acre pastures. Split up.
Okay. So, and then over there I see some springs on it and I see different cable insulators. What's that about?
So on all our metal posts where we end or switch locations in pastures, we have these black wires that are insulated that connect one wire to the next.
Okay.
And we use these for turns. Excuse me.
Or taking sharp corners.
Sharp corners or setting gates. This was a temporary gate that we used one time that we kind of keep just in case.
Okay.
But it's not a very used gate, if ever. Then we have the springs over there. What we can do is, let me look. Got to be closer to us.
Yep, that's them.
That's them.
Feel like crossing your fence?
No, I love it.
So
I'm going to look for a place that's a little bit easier.
You don't want to get a 9,000 volt shock?
No.
Nope. Okay.
My feet aren't wet.
Feet are wet.
My feet are not wet.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
I'm showing you how to do it.
Embarrassing me. Embarrassing me.
You've seen such a fish net, huh? You know what that's for?
Fishing.
Harvest fog.
Really?
Yeah.
Harvest fog.
Moisture. Okay, so I see you've got a spring tensioner on each wire, and I notice that there seems to be kind of a shock absorber.
Yep.
What is the theory behind having springs on your fences?
Springs on the fences make it easier for wildlife to get through it, but we're not as concerned with managing. So these are meant for 3 strands with one in the middle that's ground, are meant for cattle.
Okay.
When cattle go grazing, they'll either go low, well, they will go low. And if they look at the fence, they'll get a little touch on their nose and then won't pressure it at all. So we got our cows trained to these white posts. When they see these, they know this is a boundary.
Okay.
Yep.
And then these fence posts are made by Kiwi Tech in New Zealand.
Oh, Kiwi Tech, we love them.
And so they can bend. So when a deer is running through and doesn't know the pasture, it hits the fence and bounces over.
Yep.
Because the spring gives, I guess.
Yeah,
and
stretches.
And if I let this go, so you actually have flexible fences on purpose.
Yes.
So the shock is to give your cows an attitude adjustment, and the flex is to allow wildlife to go through it.
Yep.
Without damaging. Have many of your fences broken?
In the beginning, a few were broken.
Okay.
But they were broken by animals not being aware of where they were. Scared animals running very fast, not knowing where they were, specifically our cattle.
Okay.
And once we got them used to the movement around the ranch and what we have here,
no more problems.
No more problems. Even the new babies will test it until they get to a point where they can't crawl under it and be fine.
Okay. Any other maintenance problems you've had? Do the posts pull out of the ground? I mean, it's a very thin fiberglass post. How does that stay in going up hills and down hills?
It's got an arrowhead that kind of barbs in.
Okay. So is that this thick plastic that we're seeing down at the bottom here?
Yes.
Okay.
Every once in a while, something's going to come through that pulls it up. That happens.
Okay.
Easy to hit back in.
Okay. Well, thanks for that.
Yeah.
That looks like a pretty neat fencing system.
Oh, so neat.
It's so neat.
So, what else is cool? Yeah, we use these everywhere. We got used to putting them in California. Sometimes when it's really rough, we have to use either a jackhammer to set the soil soft or shovels to make sure that we have a line in. Usually when you use a jackhammer, you don't just shoot one piece in and pull out. But anything that you can do that you can get a sharp line in and then pull out, you're good.
Okay.
So that's only a thing that we found in California when it does get dry. So any place, I guess, that gets dry for part of it.
Okay. So
Otherwise,
you
if
did
it's
have
wet,
to learn specific new skills to put the fence up.
Yeah.
And then once you'd learned those skills, then it became easy?
Easy.
Okay. Well, how fast do you fence? How long does it take you to do a mile or two?
In the beginning, it took us a while because we weren't sure how to do it and it was very dry. Now, if a straight line or a mountainous line?
One of each.
A straight line we could probably get done in 2 days.
Okay.
With checking and everything, making sure. A mountainous line would take a week and a half to 2.
Okay.
Because when you're doing it in the mountains, there's a lot more unexpected stuff happening, and you're going a lot slower. You're clearing brush. You're probably going to be in some animals' territory, so they will knock it down while you're creating the fence.
Okay.
You're going to have to put in a lot more of these metal posts that you see here that take longer to set up. There's going to be more springs because every hill that you go down is going to need a spring at the bottom just to make sure. So it's a lot more testing and redoing than it would be on a flat surface.
Okay.
But we got that down, so.
You've got a crew that know the job now. And are you...
oh, yeah. I'm not the leader.
You're not the leader.
Nope.
Okay.
I usually get called to check and make sure everything's tight.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Okay. How many volts run through the fence?
10,000 max.
10,000 max. Should we ask the cameraman to test it for us?
Oh, I'd love to. Do a little test, huh?
All right. Watch this thing. Watch what the electricity does. Oh! Oh! No.
You can follow Rodger at d2gftf.com and also on his socials at Rodger Savory Holistic Management on YouTube and Facebook. We are Las Cumbres Ranch. You can follow us on social media at Las Cumbres Ranch over all platforms. And thanks for tuning in. It's been real neat.